I'm sitting in this armchair, watching the dust motes dance in a sliver of sunlight, and I realize I've spent 90 years on this earth. 90 years is a lot of Tuesdays, a lot of morning coffees, and a lot of quiet. My grandson Leo came by yesterday. He's 24, full of fire and anxiety, pacing my living room like a trapped animal. He looked at me with eyes that were tired in a way a young man's eyes shouldn't be, and asked, "Grandpa, does it ever feel like you're just taking up space? Like if I disappeared tomorrow, the world wouldn't skip a beat?" It's a question that tastes like ash, isn't it? We live in a world that screams at us to be someone, to have the platform, the followers, the legacy that can be seen from space. We're taught that if we aren't changing the world in a way that makes the evening news, we aren't really changing it at all. I looked at Leo and I saw myself at 30, drowning in that same desperate need to be significant. I saw every person who has ever felt invisible. I want to tell you what I told him because the truth about mattering is far quieter than we think. I spent 50 years as a clockmaker. People don't think much about clocks anymore. They just look at their phones. But back then, I understood the power of the small gear. If the big, heavy weights are the important parts, it's the tiny, microscopic teeth on the smallest gear that actually keep the time. If one tooth breaks, the whole thing freezes. Life is exactly like that. We spend our lives chasing the big weights, the career titles, the bank accounts, the big houses, thinking those are the things that move the hands of history. But I've lived long enough to see the big weights crumble. I've seen companies fold, fortunes vanish, and names forgotten. What stays? It's the small gears. I remember a woman named Mrs. Gable. She lived in a drafty apartment above the bakery and never did anything important. She never ran a company or wrote a book. But every Friday for 30 years, she bought 2 extra loaves of bread and left them on the bench by the bus stop. She never waited to see who took them. She never posted a photo of her charity. She just did it because she knew someone, somewhere, was hungry. That's a small gear. That's what keeps the world's heart beating. When I was 45, my shop was failing. Modernity was catching up to me, and I felt like a ghost in my own life. I was standing under a bus shelter in a freezing downpour, feeling that heavy, cold weight of failure in my chest. A man I'd never seen before, soaking wet and shivering, looked at me and said, "Reminds you that we aren't in charge, doesn't it?" We ended up talking for 20 minutes while the rain lashed against the plastic roof. He didn't give me a loan. He didn't give me a job. He just told me about his daughter's first steps and how he'd once tried to bake a cake that ended up looking like a flat tire. We laughed. For 20 minutes, I wasn't a failing businessman. I was just a human being, sharing a laugh with another human being. When the bus came, he patted my shoulder and said, "Keep your chin up, Arthur. The sun always comes back." He probably forgot that conversation by dinner time, but that night I didn't close my shop. I went home and hugged my wife. That stranger changed the trajectory of my entire year just by being present in a bus shelter. He had no idea he was a hero that day. We think mattering means being seen by crowds, but true impact is often invisible. Think about the teacher who stayed 10 minutes late to tell a shy kid they were good at drawing. Think about the person who held the elevator for someone who looked like they were having a bad day. Think about the father who works a job he hates just so his daughter can go to a dance class he'll never attend. These aren't the things that win awards. There are no trophies for most consistent kindness or best listener in a crisis. But when you look at the fabric of a person's life, it's held together by these tiny stitches. When I look back at my 90 years, I don't think about the most expensive clock I ever sold. I think about the time I taught the neighbor's kid how to use a screwdriver. He's an architect now. He told me recently that the only reason he felt he could build things was because I didn't laugh at him when he dropped my tools. That one afternoon of patience was a seed that grew into a career. You are planting seeds every single day with your patience, your honesty, and your presence. The problem today is that we've outsourced our sense of worth to a screen. We wait for a notification to tell us we're liked. We wait for a view count to tell us our voice is heard. But the most important moments of your life will never have a like button attached to them. They happen in the quiet spaces. They happen when you choose to be honest when lying is easier. They happen when you show up for a friend's boring move because you know they're stressed. I told Leo that the world doesn't need more influencers. It needs more stabilizers. It needs people who return their shopping carts. It needs people who check in on their elderly neighbors. It needs people who do the right thing when absolutely no one is watching. If you are doing those things, you aren't just taking up space. You are the foundation. You are the reason the world hasn't fallen apart yet. Don't let a lack of applause convince you that your performance doesn't matter. The most beautiful music is often played in empty rooms, but it still changes the air. As I sit here, reaching the end of my own story, I can tell you this. The view from 90 is very different from the view at 24. I don't care about the clocks anymore. I care about the hands I've held. I care about the thank yous I've said and the I'm sorries I've meant. If you want to know if you matter, stop looking at the horizon and start looking at the person right in front of you. Are you kind to them? Do you listen when they speak? Do you keep your promises to the people who rely on you? If the answer is yes, then you are a giant among men. You are changing the world one heartbeat at a time. It's not about making a splash. It's about being the steady, quiet rain that helps things grow. So, to Leo and to you, I say this. Your life doesn't need to be extraordinary to be meaningful. It just needs to be authentic. You matter because you are here, and because you have the capacity to make one other person feel less alone. And in a world this big, that is the greatest legacy anyone could ever leave.